The topic of this conversation is women and family wealth. Families have grown wealth tremendously in the last decade. But while families have grown wealth tremendously in the last decade, how have families shaped the role of women in appreciating wealth creation, understanding it in a way that it should be done, and applying themselves in that journey? That's precisely what we are going to ask Subra. Subra, what are your first impressions on how women have participated in this last decade as families have grown tremendously in their wealth creation?
Shyam, first of all, women live longer than men. Many young girls today don't want to get married. So, some will get married and even get divorced. Some will stay single, and some stage they could be widowed. So, to say my father looks after my money, my husband looks after my money is wrong. They have to start participating and understand the whole process. And it is largely the woman's job to teach money to their children. Nobody is going to do it. No, neither the school nor college or office is going to do it. And by the time the child realizes the power of compounding, if he's already 32, you have lost 20 years of compounding.
But today, if you see, when I see why young women are not financialized adequately, why they are not saving their money financially and investing it in better investment opportunities like mutual funds, it's always a woman who is misleading another woman. It's the mother who tells the daughter, hey, you're earning this much money, I'm going to put this money in this jewelry shop straight. There is no evaluation of what the alternatives are, what is needed by the daughter, what will be the return if they put the money in a mutual fund. By putting the money in an unsecured instrument like a jewelry shop's chit scheme, what are the risks they are taking? None of it. It's completely blindsided. And when you see this kind of investing, you can clearly see that this comes from the 80s and 90s. When jewelry shops incentivize their customers to give them money monthly, and that money became the working capital of the jewelry.
Correct.
But the problem is many jewelries have gone bust in the process, and those who gave this money never got it back. So as an instrument, it's an unregulated instrument. Now suppose they are giving you 8% interest, you might as well get it in a debt scheme. Even if you put that money in a Nifty, you will get 7-8% at least. Why should you go and give it to a person as an unsecured investment on which you have no control? When I look at that and ask the young lady, you're much more progressive, you have far more exposure than your parents, why are you doing it this way? She says, my mother won't let me do anything else. So I'm not able to understand how this will change. What are your thoughts on this?
No, see, I think women have a lot of responsibility to find out how much the husband is earning, sit with him, create a budget, and live according to it. Because if the husband is earning something through illicit means, she has to understand that the day that gets exposed, the whole family will be subject to tremendous amount of difficulty, right? Whether it is Harshad Mehta or any of those things, the women were called to court, they were shamed, it is so difficult. So if you don't know what your husband is doing, from where the income is coming and how you're spending, that is bad at a very broad level.
Sometimes they keep those accounts, money in the name of the woman also. That's why they are drawn into this.
Yeah, so they sign, they become a director. So they should understand what their husbands are doing and why they are doing, and whether they should give personal guarantees. They should think about all this. This is at a very broad level. At a lower level, they should know how much money is being invested where, for what purpose. Because even, let us say the husband gets a heart attack and he has to be admitted in hospital, there's no point in saying I have the husband's credit card. If you don't know the password, how are you going to use it? At least your children are grown up and the children know it, it's okay, but you need that passcode to use the
So you're saying that the participation in the regular running of the finances of the family has to be at a different level. That's the first point you're making. And what point I was making was something different. I am saying that you need to refresh your understanding of financial opportunities.
True, that is also true.
Okay.
Yes.
First, you need to understand what are the financial responsibilities. That is what you're talking about, financial responsibilities, and understanding them to a greater degree than we see presently. I am talking about an understanding of the financial opportunities and understanding them to a greater degree. If you understand responsibilities better and you understand opportunity, if you understand responsibilities better and you understand opportunities equally well, then the sync and the role play in the family will be significantly better.
Correct.
And the family will benefit from that immensely. But tell me one thing, who is to blame for this not happening right now? Who is to be blamed?
Both men and women. I'll tell
Okay.
you this, because the men play no role in the kitchen. They don't know from where vegetables are bought, how milk is to be boiled, how tea is to be made, nothing they know. The only thing they do is look after the money. So when I tell a wife that you have to do all this, she says, "Arey, that's the only thing he does." So don't ask me to do that also, because he does nothing else in
She
the
feels
kitchen.
burdened.
She feels burdened. So I am very clear that men have to learn cooking and women have to learn finance. But at some stage when you are alone, you can't say, I don't know how to go into the kitchen. The upper middle class has solved this by saying, oh, we have a maid. But you don't have a maid to look after finances.
It feels like you're talking to me, Subra. Anyway, go ahead.
So I'm saying you need joint responsibility for both the kitchen and for the finances. These are the things with which you live. So whether it is your health or whether it is your wealth, like even assuming that you are paying all the expenses, I mean the electricity expenses, etc., and you are going online and paying. So 1 month you should do, 1 month your wife should do. So both should know these processes. Both should know from where things are coming. I know a friend, he knew nothing about cooking. So we said, you should help your wife, go get the plates. So he goes into the kitchen and say, hello, where are the plates? He doesn't know that. It can't start.
That bad, anyway.
It has to start. At some stage you start. Make sure that your children understand finances. It's a joint thing. I've said this a million times in my videos. Finance is not the husband's job and cooking is not the wife's job. It is a family thing.
I agree.
It's a family thing. So participate in both. And then you see how the whole outcome is. So the wife should know. And at a philosophical level, if your husband is spending too much, which happens for business people, I see, the women don't know how much he's earning. When he is a salaried person, you know that 1,16,000 is credited into the account. In business, he just lives lavishly, uses his credit card everywhere. Wife doesn't know. When he dies, suddenly they realize they have so much of debt, the car has got debt, the house has got debt. She doesn't even know. She's just pretending life is great. So you don't want such a rude shock and wake up and saying, oh, I didn't know. I mean, I didn't know doesn't help when you're a 42-year-old widow. You just lost your 45-year-old husband. What a mess your life is. So don't
this
get
comes
into
from
such
lack
mess.
of transparency and interest, both. One, the husband thinks, oh, she doesn't need to know all this. Let me not burden her. I can take care of everything.
Yes.
The wife thinks, why should I take interest in this? Like you said, I'm already doing all the other things.
Yeah.
She looks at it as a job.
Correct.
My understanding of this situation, which you precisely mentioned now, where, the husband passes away, is that if there is a proper advisor who can immediately transition and transfer the learnings and the experiences to the wife in a transparent way, then things settle down very well. To my surprise, wives actually take over the finances of the family and do better than the husbands did. This has been a universal thing I have noticed.
True.
In the case
True.
of an husband passing away.
Yeah.
And we have discussed multiple cases where even businesses are taken over by a wife and run better than how the husbands run it. Because I think that the ability to respond to crisis is much better. I think that's the basic. But why should it come to a crisis is my question.
Exactly.
So my fundamental question is, why can't you play that part before? Because even in the lifetime of the husband, your contribution to the family can become far more significant. And it will do good to the family.
Correct.
Because if you are able to do so well after it all falls on you, why don't you do it a little bit? Even before. How much is something you decide between the two of you.
Correct.
Through discussion. But that awareness and that participation also gives the husband a sense of purpose, a sense of responsibility and a sense of direction, that okay, now I need to actually ensure that my wife is on the same page on this.
True.
So, and she needs to ensure that she appreciates what he is doing.
Correct.
So there is a...
No, only Only both of them sit and talk.
There is a bridge that is formed. And as I told you, responsibilities and opportunities must always be bridged constantly.
Correct.
Unless you are going to bridge these two, there should not be a gap between these two. Once you bridge these two and keep them close to each other, then they start working well in tandem. The reason why today families are not achieving to their potential is because, as I told you, the lady of the house wants to buy only one asset class, which is gold, even though she's already over allocated to it. Imagine somebody's got 1 kilo gold, Subra. I'm giving a classic example. Many families today have 1 kilo gold because that's
Over time they built it.
And
they
they
never
don't
sell.
have financial assets.
And they don't sell. Gold is
I
never
don't
sold.
want them to sell, Subra.
No, gold is never sold. So it's got
okay.
built up.
Accepted without debate. They got jewels, 1 kilo. On the other side, when gold goes up and the markets are flat, their equity allocation, the overall financial asset allocation has further come down. So what should they be doing now? They should be rebalancing the asset allocation.
Correct.
How can they rebalance? Put more money in equity, no?
Correct.
Even if you don't sell your gold. I'm fine with that. But they're doing the reverse. They're
Correct.
going and buying more gold now, telling equity
Correct.
is not doing well. You don't know anything to the husband.
Correct. See, gold has
Do
done
what
so
I see
well.
what gold has done. You are not sensible. Now, actually, the person not being sensible could well be the wife in this situation. Now, as I told you, the understanding of responsibilities and the understanding of the opportunity is not bridging.
Just this, even other things like you want a new car, you want a bigger house, you want a European holiday. You realize you have only 15 lakhs. Okay, that 15 lakhs has to be allocated between the three. So the wife should know it is either Europe trip
For a year.
for this year, because 4 people going to Europe and spending 15 lakhs is not impossible. So some people
Correct.
do spend that kind of money. So therefore, the upgrade of the car is not going to happen and the house is not getting bigger. So between the three, husband and wife both have to prioritize and say, no, we will not make any foreign trip. We will borrow some more money and buy a bigger house.
Okay.
So the prioritization, when it doesn't happen.
But those decisions seem to happen in tandem. I'm not getting the feeling that people don't talk those decisions.
No, they don't, because the wife, there are wives who say, I don't know why my husband works so late, every day he comes late. And then I say, where was your last time vacation? Oh, we went to Japan, it was fantastic. I say, look, if you want a husband who will come home at 5:30 and buy you flowers and take you for a movie, the Japan trip is not happening. Please
come on, Subra, that's a very drastic thing to say.
No. I mean, understand that this comes at a price. Like what Ratnakar was told by Narada, saying you will accumulate sins on the way. Similarly, men accumulate BP and sugar and all that for working this hard. You have to understand that you're prioritizing wealth over health. So these are all family decisions. You have to sit. You can't just brush it off and say, "Oh, I'm not stressed."
No, what you are coming to say, if I may infer it this way, is that if you understand, if both the husband and wife understand what it takes to live the life that they collectively aspire,
Correct.
then neither would play the not enough card.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Because it's very easy to say, now what you're doing is not enough, right?
Correct.
What's so great about what you're doing? Not enough.
Correct.
So that not enough card should not be played is something I agree with you. And the right response to that is understanding what it takes to get the life you want. The moment you're on the same page on what it takes, then you're not going to question that.
Correct.
Whatever be the decision. It's like saying, this year, if you are having a holiday, next year will be the car.
Correct.
Alternate year will go foreign holiday.
Correct.
Alternate year will do domestic.
Or we won't do foreign holidays because we want to buy a bigger house without any borrowing.
Correct. Whatever be the
Some
thing.
things.
It's basically prioritization that you're talking about. And you're saying that the women should participate first in the prioritization.
Very actively.
But doesn't it all start with the basic understanding of where the family money is going every month?
Absolutely.
Where the investments are made?
Absolutely.
How much is the discretionary expenditure?
Correct.
How much of discretionary expenditure can actually be done away with, right? Though it's discretionary, how much of it is essential, right? When you start participating in all these things, the family's finances start looking up.
Correct.
Because you start sprucing it up.
Correct.
Preparing it up for bigger things. And as your income rises, then you see things very differently. When you don't do it early stage, after income rises, you still see it the same way. In my opinion, that's the biggest risk. We're seeing families who had family income of 1 lakh, 50,000 rupees salary, entry salary at the time of marriage. They would have paid 10,000 rent, lived at 30, 40,000, done some things, then bought a house, and then, they come up. Today's salary is 5 lakhs plus 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs.
Correct.
You see how they're approaching life. It's not very different from how it was at 1 lakh.
Correct.
Salary has gone up tenfold.
Correct.
The capability to save, percentage of money they can save is 50%.
Correct.
But they're not doing it.
No, typically today when you're earning 5 lakh plus 5 lakh, where you buy your vegetables doesn't matter. That is not going to make you rich or poor. When your father was earning 3,000 a month or 5,000 a month, he was spending maybe 30%, 40% on food and essentials. Today you're still spending maybe 1% or 2%. So trying to save money there makes no sense. But you can be completely ruined if the husband does F&O and things like that. So you should know what you can do, what you can't do. Also allocating, children's education. Because education is big. Today, just applying to 5 universities in
Very
US costs
expensive.
15 lakhs.
Very expensive.
Very expensive.
That comes to a very important question. That the wife has certain aspirations like, monthly jewelry budget. I'm just giving you an example. This is a very common thing. Otherwise, some other discretionary expenditure which she wants to make. At least jewelry is a discretionary investment. There are a lot of discretionary expenditures also which she wants to make, which are value-wise not very high. Now, husband wants to do F&O, option trading. So, the deal is, you don't ask me about this and I don't ask you about this. Right? So, finally, there is no plan for the family. It's all random. But they're doing well in life. So, things are moving. But what happens in this kind of situation is the family fails to create the wealth that it
could have.
Yeah. This is where I feel the women can play a far more constructive role by saying that, okay, what are things that I should do or should not do? Let me understand this from a professional and then stick to that. And let me lay down the rules of what the family should do collectively, or let us together lay down the rules and follow it. Then that holding together of saving, investing, growth, everything happens cohesively. Now this random thing of one person doing their own thing, the other person doing their own thing, and nothing being done for the family, which can really take the family to the next level, but some marginal stuff, all time pass things,
No, but even sitting with the advisor and the advisor saying in equity you will get 18% return or 20% return, and end of 1 year sitting and saying, hey, you said 18, my husband in his direct equity has got 6%. Am I not better off in a bank fixed deposit? What great things have we achieved? We have not achieved anything. So reviewing with very little emotion, unemotionally reviewing, and then telling the husband, look, you don't seem to show any great strength in direct equity, so we will restrict your direct equity to 10 lakhs a year maximum. So if it becomes 11, we will take 1 lakh out. If it becomes 9, your budget is only 9 because you have already lost 1 lakh or something like that, and saying, okay, equity mutual funds are giving better returns than what you're doing, so let us put it here. Or say, now you will not do anything like that because in 2 years the daughter has to go abroad, or in 6 years the son has to go abroad. Now we cannot afford this risk. We have to collect money towards that, and that we will monitor together on a yearly basis. I need 3 crores in 2030, so I will either start withdrawing or do whatever because I need money for that education. That can't be postponed. Buying a house you can postpone by 1 year, but if your son passes 12th standard in 2028, you have to pay fees in 2028.
You
cannot tell him, oh, let the market improve next year, then I'll pay your fees. So you have to understand what are very strict deadlines, timelines, and which can be, okay, if the market is booming, let's sell some shares and buy a house. That can make sense. But you cannot do that. Sell some shares, make money, go for a trip to Singapore. That's fine. Which again tells you that you should remove money from equity in a very happy state of mind, not in a sad state of mind. You have to remove money from equity, nothing wrong. You have a 1 crore. I know a friend who put 1 crore in one share and it became 1 crore 70 lakhs in 1 year. He said, look, I have to remove some money and show my wife that money can be removed from equity. Great, learn that. Let your wife also see net worth going up, and therefore, and what you said, wife does some buying and husband does F&O. Wife's buying can't kill the house. F&O can kill the house. If he has given some personal guarantees, whole portfolio can be wiped out. her buying more jewelry, less jewelry
No, I'll tell you
can't hurt.
instances where families are given their password of their trading account to some friend or somebody, and those guys are run up 10, 15 lakhs loss, right? And they paid it out of a personal loan. All this happened because they never talked to each other about what is being done. And then suddenly this guy comes and says, give me your jewels, I'm going to pledge it because I have to pay my broker some 5 lakhs, right? So whatever she did also got cleaned out.
Correct.
There's no cohesion, right?
Correct.
So if there is a very structured approach which women participate in, these things won't happen.
Correct.
Okay. And when these things don't happen and you are having a structured approach, you're going to travel in a completely different direction towards wealth creation. And that direction will have the right risk management, which is good for the family.
Correct. And you also see, I know one friend, his classmate asked him for a loan. So he gave a loan. His wife looked at it and said, I don't think money is coming back. It was a snide remark. And it was not a small amount. It was $6,000. And it has not come back. So every time she says, see what happened, you lend to your friend. So I am saying make simple rules. If it's a sibling, we will not ask questions. We will just
to the extent of some particular sum.
To the extent of some particular sum, and what we give is gone. That's okay if it doesn't come back because it's a sibling, it's blood. But if a friend asks for an X amount, you say, look, all my money is invested. I can't pull it out of equity mutual funds or something. It's an inappropriate time. But I will give you, say, 1/10 of that, and this is also a loan. In your mind, you have written it off. He's asked for 50,000, you have given 5,000, you have written it off. If it comes, very good. If it doesn't come, no
Fine.
problem. So we all paid for one friend's medical thing. He had a huge medical bill, 80 lakhs. He didn't have that kind of money. So we all paid. We don't expect that money to come back. That you can do. But your wife should know why you have
You
done
don't give
what
your
you've
friend
done.
money to trade in F&O, no?
Absolutely.
That's the
It's like
point.
buying a bottle of
Either on his name or on your name, it's the same thing.
yeah,
It's not coming back.
You don't buy a bottle of liquor to a guy who's into alcohol, right?
Who has a bad liver already.
Yeah, so Shyam, day before yesterday, I heard about a cricketer who lost upwards of 70-80 crores in F&O by some cousin. This is so stupid. You're working so hard. You're 42 degrees, you're bowling, you're batting, you're fielding, and you've created that wealth. And somebody comes and loses it for you. It's stupid to give that kind of money away. And if your wife is also participating, she'll at least caution you.
Correct.
Right.
Here, in this case, in the case that you are mentioning, there's nobody to caution also.
Yeah, you don't even know. You just gave it away. And it is family money. Your wife has given up her life. She's given up her career. She's had your kids. And I mean, if you earn 1 rupee, 50 paise belongs to her.
So what's the answer, Supra? What now define a reset. How can this be done totally differently from here? Give me a reset.
So it's very simple. The wife does not say, I want to check what you're doing. That sounds very harsh.
Correct.
And it might create a fight.
Correct.
The wife says, look, if something happens to you and you have to be admitted in hospital, I need to know which credit card, how much limit. So you start from there.
How about a monthly financial discussion for an hour?
Monthly is too much because it may not happen.
Why not? 1 hour?
No, that's fine. But I'm saying start with, if something happens to you and I have to admit you, I need to use your password for your credit card. And I will not misuse your credit card. You know that. You trust me and that kind of a thing. So you can start from there. Then say credit card, how much is the limit? What is your CIBIL score? Why is your CIBIL score 750? You have never defaulted. Why is it not 820? Because beyond 820, we'll get cheaper housing loan. Car loan rates can go down. Why? What have you done wrong? Whether in the past. Then you get the CIBIL report and you find that 10 years back or 5 years back, you got a credit card which was free, but which had an annual charge after the first year. So 500 has added up for 5 years, 2,500 plus interest, now 7,000 is due there. Then you realize your credit card score is getting screwed because of that. You've got 2 cards with 20 lakhs limit. That's going on fine. You're paying on time. But you forgot about this card. So then you start restructuring and saying, okay, let me get rid of it. The husband also didn't know. It's not that he was trying to hide. So either you start from the credit side, or if you've got loans, you say, look, I've got this gold jewelry lying. Do you want me to sell it and pay off? So some discussion like that you start, and then say, what is mutual fund? Can you explain to me? And he says, I also don't know. Let the advisor come. So you bring in the advisor explains, and you say, look, these are funds which you don't understand, which are not performing. Let's get rid of it. So the wife has to understand, accept her role and start participating. Maybe she also starts by saying, look, I'll teach you how to cook rice and make dal dal and some basics. Somewhere you start living like a family rather than saying, oh, this is like a paying
Silos.
guest.
Silos should be abandoned.
Yeah, this is not a guest house where, I mean, I am guilty of some of these things. Not that I learned to cook, but my wife, and I don't participate so much in the finance, but now I have a daughter who is participating, so she knows most of the things. So, some of these things you start and it will lead to happy times. Why will it lead to? And I also think that if your friend wants a loan, it's better that you tell your friend, boss, I need to ask my wife. And if your wife's friend wants a loan, she has to say she'll ask you.
That's a good
It
starter.
sounds very stupid, but then you say, look, I'm giving this much. If it doesn't come back, let's not fret and fume over it. So similarly, you can say t-shirts costing less than $800. We're not going to discuss with each other. But then she opens the cupboard and finds there are 12 t-shirts which you have not used. She's going to say, what nonsense is this? So somewhere when you participate, you realize there is more surplus. The children know for what education you will pay, how much you will pay, how much you will ask them to take a loan. All those things are, it's clear.
You're saying gradually when you start talking, rules form,
Yes,
they set,
correct.
and they deliver.
Absolutely.
So it's very important that the engagement is changed. And Subra has given many ideas, and I have also shared my thoughts on this. When the engagement changes, the engagement actually grows, participation becomes positive and productive, and families start growing their financial wealth better. That's really the good news that we want to leave you with at the end of this conversation. Subra, thank you for this wonderful conversation.
Thank you.